Clear.
Red shirts for Royce.
Paul was trying to get a good view.
He's so holy. It's like Michael Jackson. Forget him watching. I don't think they saw this, but
I stand out, you know.
why don't you come over to the room?
Can you guys hear us, sir?
Oh, look, they're watching. They're listening.
He said something about it here. Oh,
I know you're already here.
I didn't know that.
We got you now. Good to see y'all. So this is the plaque for STS-133-ULF5. Tried to do it before you guys got to bed here, but so we didn't interfere with your work. So I think before we lose Tom eventually here, I'll just turn it over to you guys and see if you have any comments you want to make to the team to start with. Next time we'll make sure we get pizza for y'all. I'll turn it over to Steve, make a few comments, and then then I'll talk for a few.
Hey, well, Dina and Katie and Paul, it was a real pleasure for us to get to work with you up there. We had a great time. We wouldn't have been successful unless our two crews turned into one crew to do this. It was obvious that we were working together. Seems like the activities we did up there were the most successful activities where we were there. Katie and Paul in particular, helping our clients enough that we can have time and our eyes here up there home there, helping us out. I know you guys had a ton of stuff going on at the same time. I remember one day when you guys were working Electron or secret that's a bit. I appreciate the ISS control team here was we did it all. We worked together, and I apologize again for crashing the station. But I hope that you guys got it all cleaned up, and what I really hope is that we didn't accidentally take down any of their stuff. You said you found it? That was Steve Ball's fault, by the way.
Okay, so here we are at the end of a really, really long activity to get this mission off the ground. We redesigned this mission so many times I actually started a tick mark on my big board where I had probably aggressively written burn down list and crossed everything off, and then wrote replan everything and kept hash marks on there for about 12 or 13 times by the time we actually launched. So, you know, we went from being the last mission to 134 going after us, which was our very first. That should have been the indication there that we were going to change a lot of stuff. So then we turned around and went from one increment crew to another. We started with an 8-day mission with no EVAs. We were going to do it over a long weekend and install the PMM and the ELC, and then we wound up with a monster mission with the element install and the ELC install and 2 EVAs, and as Steve said, probably one of the busiest days we've ever had in the history of ISS on board with stuff going everywhere. And my compliments to Stan and Stevie Ray for being able to keep track of all that stuff. I'm not sure anybody else could have done it. So the days that we installed, that we outfitted PMM and did OGA and Cedar Ops all at the same time were insane. And one of the reasons that we actually were able to do it is because of all you folks, and I include everybody standing in this room, the crew and the crew on board, and the folks in this room who planned it and made sure it was correct and put it on the vehicle for the crew to execute. So those type of days will stay with you the entire time you're a flight controller. 10 years from now, you'll be sitting in some after-hours place drinking a frosty adult beverage, reliving that day on STS-133 when everything was going on simultaneously and how well it actually worked. It'll probably grow as it goes, but it's pretty big to start with, so I'm not sure it can grow that much. Add on top of that, we wound up with HTV on the vehicle, and we wound up with ATV docking the day we launched, which was another very entertaining activity. We had to relocate HTV before we could even get there, so that again, the words here are flexibility. Everybody stayed flexible, everybody stayed on task, and we actually went and executed the mission. It looked nothing like what we were originally planning to go do. I think one of the reasons that we were able to do that is simply because we worked as a team. And it's not just the team of flight controllers in here, and it's not just the team of the crew, it's all the folks in the MERV, it's all the folks in the program office that redesigned Leonardo into the PMM, it's all the folks down at Kennedy that worked on the ET to get us ready to go fly, worked on Discovery to get us to go fly. So the trick is, it's one big monster team, but when it's all clicking, it's a beautiful thing for all. It really is. And we were all clicking on 133. We really were. My team name is Tungsten. One of the reasons I selected that team name, there's a laundry list of reasons in there, but one of them that I list in there is that if you take tungsten in its original form, it's a very brittle metal, and you can hit it and it will fracture, and it's not very good. If you combine that with other things like carbide, you get tungsten carbide bits, super strong materials, and in combination, tungsten allows you to do great things. And I think that's really a kind of an analogy of the 133 ULF5 team. Together, we were greater than the sum of all of our parts. So congratulations, y'all did a great job. I would just say the last thing I want to throw out there is that if you actually go back and listen to the loops from the mission, from my flight loop in particular, you'll find I didn't say a whole lot, which is kind of entertaining for those of you that don't. I would offer up that the reason I didn't say a whole lot is because I didn't have to. You guys already knew what you were doing. You made sure I knew what you were doing before we ever got there. Every little nuance that came our way, we counted it concave. There was nothing in the mission that we were not prepared to go execute. So when the vehicle coughed up a cedar failure or gave us a discovery hanging off the end of node 2 for an extra 50 minutes before we got docked, we had enough CPU left over to be able to go handle that. That's the way it's supposed to be done. We were absolutely ready to go fly this mission. And as I said, I think one of the indications of that is if you actually just listen to my loops, all I really did for the majority of the mission was acknowledge you telling me that you completed something or giving you a go do. So, Congratulations, it was an excellent mission. So you're all here to see who gets to climb up the little rickety ladder. We're going to start out for the ULF5 flags for the ladder holder. If I can get Art Thompson up here to represent the EDA. This to you because I think this pretty much summarizes it all. It says, for all the outstanding work pre-flight during real time for the last mission of the Space Shuttle Discovery, for adding 2 EVAs to the mission after FOR, for adding the pump mount to relocate activity to the mission a few months before we launch, for reworking EVA-2 activities to accommodate the SPDM holding 2 RUs when the flight slipped past HV2. For adding a new crew member to the mission just prior to launch, for dealing with an EMU that would not power up the pad, and for dealing with a disconnected helmet camera in a suit that failed a weak check while still completing all of the planned activities and all of the get-ahead activities. This is recognition for that team. Good job. Let the photographer tell us. Just like that. Hey, good job. You guys sign it. Okay. And for the, to actually hang the plaque, I'd like to get Pam Martin up here for the OSO. Now this was supposed to, again, start out to be a pretty simple flight for OSO because they really just had a CVM and ELC or a CAD install, and that was pretty much it. Install an MPLM, which was called PMM, which they've done 1,000 times. But it actually turned out to be a much more entertaining mission. So again, I'll read this for you. It says, for outstanding work pre-flight and during real-time execution during the last mission of the Space Shuttle Discovery, for extensive pre-flight activities related to conversion of the MPLM Leonardo to the permanent multi-purpose model, for work developing the vestibule outfitting procedures that included rewiring Node 1, for IFM activities during an EVA when half of Node 1 was powered off, for extreme diligence in discovering the root cause of the Kupler PCS 1553 channel issue, and for 2 flawless mechanisms activities for the ELC4 install and the PMM install, for production and execution of 2 Caesar IFM procedures and an ODA IFM procedure, all 3 of which were major activities added to the mission after launch, for 2 major PMM outfitting days added to the mission after launch, and for executing those major IFM tasks on the same day as the PMM outfitting task without issue. In recognition of this effort, the team was selected to hang the flag for 133 ULF5.
Keep getting smaller.
It's almost as complex as the
You want storage enough for that? You want storage enough for that?
Yeah, I could use them.
Excellent. All right, you have to go do the job. You do. Top again.
See two shiny things? All right.
Thanks. This is for you. Okay. Let's see, where are we here? For holding the ladder for the 133 patch, I'd like to get Melanie to come up here. Okay, so this one says, for outstanding pre-work during real-time mission of last mission to Space Shuttle Discovery, for work with the ever-changing robotics timeline, which included addition of the pump module relocating task after a failure of the ISS, as well as an SBM holding 2 ORUs when the flight slipped past HV2, for flawlessly executed ground control on multiple nights during the dock mission, and for outstanding response to a failure of the Kupo RWS during EVA-1, which could have dramatically altered the day if it were not for the response of the robo team, and I can't emphasize that enough. Mr. Bowen.
I appreciate their efforts, I really do.
Mr. Bowen was out there, Mr. Barrett's in the vehicle, and we've got an 800-pound piece of hardware that he's holding onto with a couple of little handrails at the strength of his hands. At the time when the RWS that Mike was using to fly him around with just went out from underneath. So the lesson learned for all the young robotics folks sitting over there clustered around the robo console is that you really couldn't tell anything was going on when Melanie was talking. She obviously knew the criticality of the scenario, but she's just ice water in her veins. That's the way it looked on the outside. What was going on inside was just between you and you. So you did a great job. Again, congratulations. Dan, you right here. We'll take them. Yeah. All right, and then for the person who gets the honor of climbing up the rickety ladder to hang the other plaque, if I could get John Gard to come represent the team. So this one says, for outstanding work pre-flight and during real-time execution during the last mission of the Space Shuttle Discovery, for maximizing O2 and N2 transfer during the mission, for minimizing PPCO2 even with both Seeger and Vazuk being R&R, for unique use of the airlock MEDOX canisters for reducing CO2 during non-EVA activity, for multiple IFM activities in the ecosystem that were added after to the dock mission after launch, and for response to an off-nominal Seeger signature that could have dramatically altered the course of the mission without quick, accurate, and decisive action by the Eagles team. John's been around a long time. This is not his, this is your shirt. Yeah, this is not his first rodeo. So as soon as Steve and Al came out the hatch on EVA-1 there, And John turned around and looked me straight in the eye and said, I need to shut Cedar off right now. That got 1,000% of my attention. I kid you not. When we did this the last time, we left it running long enough that actually did much more damage to the Cedar than it was. That was back in Mike's increment. And we had to do a lot of work to get it running again. And in this configuration, we have Bazooka down. Yeah, we have Bazooka down. We have one Cedar that doesn't have a bed in it, and the only thing we have on the vehicle for scrubbing CO2 is the one that just failed. So we had a really serious conversation on the flight loop while I'm trying to pay attention to what Steve and Al are doing out in EDA. And that is not a good position for a flight director to be in. But I will tell you honestly, the one person I would love to have sitting at the equals console when that occurs is John Carr. He absolutely deserves to hang this plaque for this activity. Congratulations, guys. Sign that for me. Okay, let's see. Looks like we lost the video, but we'll say bye to Katie and Paulo and Dima. Thanks for joining us. And with that, we're going to head on over to the White Victor again. I can't say enough about how much fun I had working this mission with all of you guys. And I'd love to work another one with you whenever you want. Happy to do it. So we'll head on over to the White Victor and let the ISS team get back to work. Got to go that way.